this is part one where I'm gonna knead clay, cut out the forms, and then we'll put them on a tray to bake. Hi there, welcome to the Gardens and Graveyard channel. Today we're meeting in the studio and I thought it would be fun to do a little Halloween slash everyday goth garden slash spooky season is every season project. So I saw something similar a while ago and I loved it and I want to replicate it for my garden. So what I saw were headstone shaped plant markers. So instead of just having like a tag from the nursery or a fancy copper tag for labeling your plants in the garden, they had these cute headstone markers and they were like pre-made and resin, but they were really small, like half this size and kind of generic. And while I can't go into like a lot of detail on even this size, I just thought it might be fun just to make them my own. So I have 4 wood ones, and I know that the wood ones won't last quite as long. So I was thinking I would use my wood markers for annual herbs. They're gonna be all for herbs. And then I got myself some oven bake Sculpey, and I thought I would make a few more and use these as a model and create some clay markers for the ones that need to be out in the garden for longer periods of time. And I didn't want to make a whole bunch of them in case they're like a total flop, but I thought it would be kind of fun to try. So this is part one where I'm gonna knead the clay, cut out the forms, and then we'll put them on a tray to bake. I've got my parchment paper, a tray, and this will be what we use to bake in the oven when we're done with our molds. I also have this silicone mat, which I use to bake on. I don't bake on it. Need my like dough for like, my words are not working. I use this mat, a silicone mat, to knead dough when I bake bread. Today we're gonna use it to knead this clay. So what it says is I start with a clean hands and work area, and I knead clay until it's soft and smooth. So we're gonna just go for it. I have absolutely no other use for this clay, so even though it comes in a big block, I believe with the intention of like peel it off in sections like that. I'm not gonna bother with that. I'm just gonna start kneading it, which who knows how that's gonna work. I left it in my studio all day so that it would be nice and warm, and a little bit more pliable to work with. Hopefully. So part one, we're gonna get this all kneaded, and then we'll roll it out and we'll cut it into the shapes, and then we'll bake it, and then it's gonna need to, the clay will need to be dried, baked and then dried and then cooled off, and then it can be sanded or painted or all that kind of stuff. And then we could also paint the wood. We could also paint the wood markers at the same time. And I'm going to come up with a bunch of fun, clever names. I just popped my idea into ChatGPT and said, give me silly, mystical, headstone, Halloween-inspired epitaphs for herbs. And I wanted them to also be life-affirming, not like, here lies the death of Mr. Mint, because I want my herbs to grow. I don't want them to have the idea that they're already dead. So I wanted them to be positive, life-affirming epitaphs. Okay, this is feeling pretty soft. I don't know how soft is it supposed to feel. I'll work with this stuff. Okay. All right, at this point, I'm just gonna flatten it out to about a 1/4 inch. I'm just going to use this round vase to roll it out a little bit more. Make sure smooth on both sides. So then what I'm going to do is just lay these down and trace around them. I think that'll work. That's fun. It is so windy out there. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's what I've decided to do. I was able to get 4 full size and 1 half size basic shape from using this as a mold or a guide, I guess. And then I had some leftover clay. So I attempted to make a mother figure, like a petunia type flower, some other kind of motif across, and this was my attempt at a triple spiral. And I was thinking about carving the names in, but I decided that I'm just gonna wait and paint them on because I can get a much more refined point than if I try to write with this. It just becomes kind of clunky. And that also means that I'd have to fully commit to that name before I'm really ready. So I'm just gonna smooth that out. It's fine. You can sand these down after they're done baking. You can, carve into them a little bit. You can paint them, all that good stuff. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and put down this parchment paper. Oh, let's do them. That's fine. And place these on here. And then we can bake them. side? Okay. And then this says to bake them for 15 minutes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. And after that, we will let them cool off and become hard. Then they can be painted and sculpted, or, you know, sand it and all that good stuff. So, so what I'm going to do is put this in the oven and let them cool off. Before we put those in the oven, Spencer went ahead and cut down some plant stakes for me, and I'm going to press them into the back of these markers so that we have something to stick in the ground so we could use them as plant stakes or plant markers. All right, so I had to sacrifice our fourth one to put some clay over the tops of these because I just felt like they needed to have a little bit more support than just getting pressed in there. But I think it's gonna work out pretty good. So let's get them in the oven and get them baked and see what happens after that. And that is about as far as I'm going to get on this project today. This is part 1. I will come back on another day, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, and we'll paint both the clay and the wood plant markers with some fun herbal puns. So if I post this before we do part 2, post in the comments below what you would put on your herb headstones. I'm thinking, you know, something basic would be like rosemary, in remembrance, because rosemary is for remembering, rooted in 2019, because that's when I planted her. But I'm totally open to like something more fun, like jive and chive. I don't know. I saw one that was like oregano, like his name was Otis Regano or something. Oregano. I thought that was kind of cute. Anyways, give me some ideas in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, and we'll get back together with part 2 and see what we came up with.